If you like what you see here, please donate to ModernPagan.tv. Just go to our website, www.modernpagan.tv, and look for the donate button. We appreciate your contributions to keep ModernPagan.tv on the air and on the internet. And now, back to live ModernPagan.tv.
Welcome back.
Yep.
We're trying to get our Skype in.
We're expecting our Skype guest to contact us any minute. And let me give you a brief introduction. And his name is Kerr Cuhulain. And he's with the Order of Scatchhatch. And I'm not sure that's pronounced correctly. I'll let him make that correction if so. He has a website and books. He's an author. Wiccan Warrior, Full Contact Magic, and Magical Self-Defense. And so we're waiting for him to contact us now through Skype.
Hey!
Yay!
Look at that, man. Are we tough or what?
Hello, Kerr. I gave you a brief introduction, but I would like to see you or hear you elaborate on your background and your organization and your tradition. So please go for it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, we're bear with us. We're going to try and get our volume up a little bit so we can hear you a little bit better.
Okay.
We're glad to have you here. And
Can you hear us okay?
Can you hear us?
You're a little bit fuzzy, but I can make you out. Yeah, it's working.
All right, good. The volume is a little low, and again, you're a little bit fuzzy, but I don't know if you're as fuzzy as me. But.
Well, the picture that I can see, he looks rather, not so fuzzy as to view. So, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a Wiccan knight. What can I tell you? I've been involved in the Wiccan path for 42 years now. At the moment, I'm the head of an order of Wiccan Knights. I was the head of Officers of Avalon, which is an organization representing police officers, paramedics, and firefighters who are pagan. I'm an author. Obviously, I've got a whole lot of books on various aspects of the warrior path that I've been writing about over the last few years. I just started into fiction. I've now got a sword and sorcery fantasy and a paranormal romance that came out this week. So I've been pretty busy.
Oh, good. Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about your website?
The Order of Skaya has got a website, it's got a YouTube channel, has a training blog which has all of our lessons and rituals on it. If people are interested in checking it out, it's on WordPress, and it's an open learning concept, so we put absolutely everything there for everyone to see. There's no third degree mysteries. Everything is wide open because we want people to see what we're up to.
So mention your website address.
The website address is www.dunskachach.com, dunskaya.com.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get a link put in our.
I noticed.
Or stay with my new tongue. We'll put a link to our site so that people can check in.
I noticed some of the training that I was looking at on the pictures and the photographs you had were introducing some various martial arts. Can you talk about that?
Well, the order is basically about self-empowerment. It's about helping people develop their personal power. One of the things that people in the Wiccan community, the pagan community, seem to be very good at is the first half of the Wiccan Rede, which is harm none. And there's nothing wrong with that. The world could use a lot more of that, for sure. But what they seem to fall down on is the second part, do what thou wilt, because that's the part that tells you to reach for the stars, be all you can be glorious, that kind of thing. And that is very much what the order is all about. We're also committed to certain precepts and a code of chivalry, which we use to guide our conduct and our training in the world. And basically what we're doing is we're standing up and being an example of what is possible if you want to put yourself out there and really be all that you can be. So we do have a kind of a military appearance when we appear in public because we have our gis and we all have a similar appearance. It's almost like a uniform. But I mean, in our practice in the mother house here where I'm talking to you from, in our seasonal Sabbaths and so on, we are very, very relaxed and very informal. Their abilities, there's not a method of like a set course. Basically, you're assigned a mentor who helps you discover yourself and find out how you work, how you're hardwired, and how you can best use your abilities. So it's the martial arts, because martial arts is all about moving chi around, and one of the other half of what we do, very serious, in the pursuit of developing our psychic abilities and our ability to use magical energy, and we have some really talented people in that regard. So that's basically what we're up to over here.
How long of a training program is this?
Well, if you diligently follow through the thing one-on-one here at the Mother House, you can work your way through the first 2 degrees to knighthood in a year. But you know, it means you're committed. Probably twice a month you're coming here and you're working at stuff. If you're working at this online thing, we have lessons on the training blog. People hand in assignments to their mentors. We work with them on these things. We have 2 monthly Skype sessions, one with me, one with my second in command, Devin here. And so we try to reach out to all those people who are solitary or in far-flung parts of the world and help them work along with us as well. I have just had a person sign up who's with the U.S. Navy and he's overseas, you know, so we're all over the world working with people, and we're putting as much as we can online to try and help people who are unable to come into one of the preceptories and work with us.
You're very qualified in this area. Could you tell us a little bit about your background?
About my background?
Yes.
I was a police officer for 29 years with Vancouver Police, and I'm now a police dispatcher. When I started down the Wiccan path 42 years ago, I acquired a number of initiations in various traditions, but ultimately branched off to do what I'm doing now. I was involved in anti-defamation work for the Wiccan community for about 2.5 decades. Wrote a series of 182 articles for Witchbox called Witch Hunts. That briefly came out as a book. I sort of retired from all of that investigative stuff in 2005 when I left the police department. Now I'm just focusing on teaching and writing, basically.
Sounds like a good opportunity to blend your background into this other tradition as well. So there's quite a crossover there. What are some of the tools of your trade, if you will, that you use in your tradition?
Well, we're a very minimalist tradition, actually. We have a serious study of magical weapons. That's the wand and staff, the sword and the thami, cauldron and chalice, stone and shield. But I mean, ultimately, you are the magical weapon. If you master this, everything else takes care of itself. And ultimately, when you are at mastery in this tradition, you are the one that is able to manipulate energy. All you need to do magic is what you came into the world with, and that's you. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need costumes. You don't need anything other than the ability to direct energy with your will. And so in the training of our order, we start with energy work. You don't even get to the ritual stuff until much later. We start by building a strong foundation of energy work so that people can move energy back and forth between each other to heal, to do any number of different magical tasks. group, and also develop people's divinatory ability and psychic ability, and it allows us to do some pretty amazing things long distance. We've had some really amazing results from some of the work that we've been doing in that regard.
Is there anyone in the audience who has any questions, or anybody want to call in or Skype in with some questions for Kerr? Do you have any, Carmen? Do you have any questions or comments about it?
So, have you had any? This would probably come up. I mean, anybody who's pagan or Wiccan has at some point been asked this. But have you had any opposition? Too many opposition? People just really.
So the warrior stuff that we do? Actually, quite the opposite. The way this came about was when I was the head of Offices of Avalon for 5 years, on a weekly basis, usually several times a week, I got requests from people from the pagan community who wanted to be members of Officers of Avalon. And when I asked them, well, what is your profession? They would give me a profession other than those three, firefighter, paramedic, and police. And they said, well, I'm sorry, we can't take you as a member because this organization is specifically to represent those trades. But if you don't mind me asking you, why would you be interested in joining at all? Because you're not one of those. And the answer was almost always the same. It was, well, you guys are knights, and I want to be part of something like that. So that's what got me realizing that once I got writing about the warrior archetype within the pagan community and had been teaching that for a number of years, the concept got out there. It had been working on people, and now people were getting to the point where they really wanted to be part of an organization where they could connect with that archetype and work with it. And, it's not about fighting. It's not about these. It's about using this. It's about using your head. It's not about fighting. It's about being effective and about being assertive. They have come here to build their confidence and build their ability so they can stand up and really be all that they can be. And that's what we're here for. That's why we exist.
All right. Well, that was very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a lot of information. We will have links to your website.
Well, let me ask one last question.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up? You want any other comments or something you want to mention?
Well, I do, actually. One of the things, I'm going to tell you a little story, actually, if I may. About a year and a half ago, actually almost 2 years ago, I was on dispatch, and there was a call where in this basically urban neighborhood, there was a 12-year-old boy. It's January. It's 10 o'clock at night. It's starting to snow, and he's running around in the street in his bare feet, in his pajamas, calling for help. And a lady about 30-something is walking down the street with her 8-year-old, sees this boy. The boy runs up to her, and she points at this care home. I'm not going to bother telling you what organization it belonged to. And she said, oh, go to them. They'll help you. And she kept on walking. About 15 minutes later, she arrived home, and she called. And she called 911, and she said, you know what? I've been thinking about this. I'm not sure whether anything got done. He needed help. It was 15 minutes ago. That's where he was, but I can't see him any longer. So we immediately started scrambling police up there to deal with it. We immediately called the care home, and it was just going to voicemail. So we sent the first officer to their front door. He knocks, and he said, did you see a 12-year-old? He said, yes, we did. He said, where is he? He said, oh, we told him we couldn't help him.